My name is Ezra Franklin Williams, full name. I'm known as Frank Williams, which is my middle name. Born and raised in Missouri. Actually, to go into the Marines in November 1951. We just went into the military. We picked a branch of service for whatever reasons. We went in, and I selected the Marine Corps. Went in. When I got out of boot camp, they gave us a list, said, you know, here's a list of duty stations, but you might as well put down Korea. This is where you're going. Of course, this was a rush thing. They needed us over there, so they rushed us through everything. I asked a dumb question about where the enemy was, and they thought, apparently they thought, well, we're gonna let you find out. So they asked me if I would volunteer to be an FO. I said, what's an FO? Well, they told me what an FO was, but they said you have to volunteer. It's strictly a volunteer job. We can't make you do it. So think about it a day or two, and I thought about it, and I thought it sounded exciting. Remember, I just turned 19, and so I said, I'll do it. My military records show the 5th day of July, 1952. Then I went, I was assigned to a company with a mortar unit. Got a little ahead of myself. And after a few days, then we went into reserves. And Bunker Hill was going on, and they needed help, so we were called out of reserves and went to Bunker Hill as infantry. So we got a short liberty in Japan, and then from Japan to Korea.
Korea where?
We landed at Incheon.
And that's the summer of 1952.
Yes.
Yeah. How was it? How was the Incheon harbor at the time that you were landing?
You know, I really don't remember much about that. I don't know if we boarded landing crafts. Well, I know we boarded landing crafts, but that's a blank. But we had to get off of that ship since it was a merchant ship. I'm not sure if we went over the side, down the net, in the landing crafts, or what. That's one. After all these years, that's something that I forgot. I was assigned to a weapons company because I had a little training in mortars, and I was with the weapons company. That's where I was asked if I would be an FO. And what we did, we had a 4-man team with each rifle company. We had 2 FOs and 2 communications men. Each rifle company was assigned an 81 FO team. They were also assigned a 4 deuce FO team and also an artillery FO team. So we had 3 FO teams there for coverage. But we were the 81, so we fired the closest supporting fire for the infantry. Every time but one, the 81 FO team is the one that manned an outpost. If there was an outpost to be manned, they sent the 81 FOs out. But the last time, just before my time was up, when I was scheduled to go on another outpost, within just a few minutes before we were scheduled to leave, they called me and said, "You're not going out, the FO team's going out." That's the only reason I'm here today. Because it wasn't a good night for them. So somebody was looking out for me that night. But going back, then when we first got there, and I was with George Company, and we went into the reserves. I don't know how long, not too long, but when you're in reserves, you're always subject to call out if somebody needs help. Help was needed on Bunker Hill. That was recorded in history. That was the first real test for the Marines after they were moved from the East Coast to the central area. This was the Battle of Bunker Hill, the 12th through the 16th of August. Extremely hot. We got called out. We didn't know where we was going. We went to Bunker Hill. We approached the crest of the hill to go out to Bunker Hill during the night, and they stopped us at the crest of the hill for whatever reason. When it got daylight, it was extremely foggy. When the fog lifted, we advanced to Bunker Hill. The Gooks had that zeroed in, the trail going out to Bunker Hill, and also Bunker Hill. This is the third day they've been hitting it real hard with mortars and artillery. They hit it with the troops at night. We went out, and we were not out there long.
What happened?
On Bunker Hill.
What happened?
I got hit. There's a possibility that the Chinese, we never did know that, but it was just the enemy, and of course I was, the weather was extremely hot, and a lot of cases on stretchers. There was shortage of stretchers. They said, we'll get you a stretcher just as soon as we can.
Where did you hit?
I actually got hit in the left knee, but it wasn't serious. I was very fortunate. I'm very thankful for that. I said, I don't have to have a stretcher. I can walk. At least I can move, you know. So as it turned out, good in this respect. I escorted the stretcher case off, and we had the stretcher bearers, which were South Koreans, carrying the wounded off, and they were going to dump this body, but they didn't. So we got him up top of the hill, went back to, took one dead body across the hood of the car, across the hood of the Jeep, and we had 3 wounded in the Jeep as well as the driver. We went back to a med company, and I was in there a couple of days, and they said, well, you're going to the hospital. Now, I hadn't been there very long. I was scared to death now. And I told them, I said, I don't need to go to the hospital shift. You know, you cleaned me up, you sewed me up. I can go back to the company and I'll heal and go on from there. And they said, okay. And so that's what I did. I went back to the company. And by the time we were to go back online, then the stitches had been removed, so I was ready to go. I went back online. And I remained the rest of my tour in Korea as an FO. I think I went up, the first trip up, I went from George to Item Company. Went up with Item Company, spent one trip up, came back, got ready to go back up. And they said, we need a FO team leader in Howe Company, and that's you. So I went with Howe Company and made a trip. Somewhere around 30 days. Nobody had, nobody watching the time or whatever. But I did, at various times, when I could recall, one time I went up, this is hard to believe. We were told that we had to be on the front lines 10 days to get this $50 a month combat pay. Well, our pay was about $100 a month. But combat pay was in addition to that, which was $50 a month. And they said, well, there's an FO was needed up somewhere. If you'll go up, I'll keep you up 10 days into the next month, so you get combat pay for that month. I went up. Well, I was there, 11-month tour. I got combat pay for the 11 months because I was always there. Oh, there's a lot of times I wondered, why in the world did I do this? Oh, yeah, and I think everybody there did. You know, I wondered, well, why did I enlist? Why am I here? But in the end, I never asked that question. You know, I'm just turned 19 years old, and when the dead bodies are coming off by you, and you're escorting. Actually, you were escorting a wounded off, and you've been hit, and then you have a dead across the front of the Jeep, and you see dead bodies there that they're starting to turn black, and the smell like you've never smelled in your life, and I've never told anybody this. An odor that you never, and I've never smelled it in my life again. So yes, I'm wondering, why did I do this? Sure. Well, the older I get, the more I appreciate what I've done. I wasn't a member of a veterans organization for years and years and years. I think in my billfold, I think I joined 1985. I got married, had 2 kids, raised a family. Going to a veterans organization where a bar was, and that's what I thought it was, and unfortunately that's what it was a lot of times. Night out with the boys for drinking, no, that's not my thing. But going back and thinking about all this, the one time after I got hit, and that was even before I went up as an FO, when I volunteered to be an FO, before I ever went up, we went on Bunker Hill, I got hit. The company said, we're not gonna send you on mine as an FO. You can stay with the guns. Well, at that time, I was shook up. Hey, listen, nobody can tell me that when you're in a combat zone where you're getting hit real hard, when they're beating you to death with mortars and artillery, nobody could tell me that they weren't scared. I was scared. And I was scared at the time. But after I thought about it, 3 or 4 days later, I thought, well, I said I would do that, and I'm going to do that. And so I reluctantly did. I went to the lieutenant and I said, I told you I'd be an FO. Now, I want to go back with the company, and that's what I want to be. Are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. Well, I did. Now, I'll grant you, there were a lot of times when my feelings got hurt. There were a lot of times when I was scared. And maybe there were times that I said to myself, why did I do this? But in the end, yes, I'm very proud of it. And the older I get, the prouder I am that I did what I did. And I'll tell you what makes me prouder, that I hit on this today. I have got acquainted with some terrific Korean American people. They came to this country. And the more I see of them, because I see so many foreigners, and we see this, that came to this country, and we have to take care of them. But these people came here and they take care of themselves. And I said I would do this. I'll be ready just a minute. Sometime in June, I don't even know.
1953.
Yeah. Right.
And then you came back to the United States.
No, I volunteered to go to Japan.
Uh-huh.
for, supposed to be a year, and it wound up being a year and a half.
And then you came back to,
Then I came back to the
yeah.
States, and I got discharged.
So I noticed that you were closing your eyes and recalling your memories.
We were, if we were on the front lines, you know, we were on the front lines. If we manned an outpost, of course, then you had fewer people out there, and you were further out,
Mm-hmm.
and
And that's F4?
that's, and so, in the, some cases, in most cases, if you're overrun when you're on the outpost, that's the end. We were fortunate, but the last time that I was scheduled to make, go on an outpost, they changed their mind. Those people, I'm not sure if they made it. But their bunker was blown in on them, and I fired all night long, supported fire, trying to keep the gooks off of them. So, you know, but we never saw those people when they came back. They either got medical care or.
So you got the Purple Heart for your wound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.